Thank you for joining our Lik5 Basics webinar. Today we'll highlight Lik5's key features and show you how to use Lik5 in your role as a chapter officer. Let's get started. You're currently viewing the Lik5 Dashboard. This is your homepage that has helpful graphs showing you the status of outstanding bills, your membership information, and your organization's cash flow all at a glance. In the top right, you're going to see three icons. The first is our question mark, which is going to direct you to the Help Center. The Help Center is organized by menus. So if you click on any of these, it'll take you to a list of related articles. Or you can simply use the search tool here, type in your search term, and any relevant articles will pull up for you. Next is the bell icon, which will show any account notifications. Clicking on a notification will give you more information and take you to a new screen to complete any necessary actions. You can also view all notifications, including both unread and notifications that you've seen previously. Next is the gear icon, which is your organization settings. So on the first page, you'll see your organization information, like your EIN and your mailing address. Next is the billing tab, which will show you your subscription information, payment method, and subscription history. The permissions section shows you all of your members and what their current access level is. From this page, you're able to grant admin access, remove admin access, or you can create individual access for each member based on their needs. You can grant read or edit access to any of the modules within Lik5. Read access gives them view-only access to review the information under that module, and edit access allows them to make any changes. Once you've granted them access to certain modules, you'll see what modules they have access to here, and their access levels are indicated by the color of the module. So if a module is listed in green, that means they have edit access, and any modules listed in gray have read access only. Lastly, under the gear icon, you can create custom fields to easily report additional information like GPAs or t-shirt sizes. Simply enter the field name here and click Add Field. Then it's going to show up on your member's account, and it'll be exportable under the Reports section. Next, let's take a look at the Members module. You'll use this module to manage your chapter's roster. You can edit individual or multiple members by clicking the box next to each of their names, and then selecting an action from this drop-down menu here. You can edit the member type by selecting here, clicking the member type you'd like to change these members to, and clicking Apply Changes. You can also resend your activation emails, add charges, record payments, edit permissions, or send these members an email and a text. Click on Manage Groups to create or edit member groups and member types. Member groups help determine what charges each member should receive. So to create a new group, you'll click here. You'll enter the group name. A description if necessary, and then you'll select the members that you would like to add to this member group. Click Save Changes to apply those members to the group, and then they'll show up here for you. If you need to make any edits, you'll click the Edit button next to the name. From here, you can add additional members or remove any members who are currently in the group. And if you need to delete a group, you'll simply click on the trash can icon next to the group name. You will also manage member types from this screen. Member types help you organize your chapter roster and identify the members standing within your chapter. So they may be listed as new members or associates, active brothers, executive board members, etc. So if you need to add a new member type, you'll click here. You'll add the name, a description if necessary, and click Save Changes. It's also important to remember to regularly archive members who are no longer active with your chapter and have a zero balance to keep your roster clean. To archive any members, just send a list of members to LegFi support at leg5.com, and our dedicated support team will take care of archiving those members on your behalf. This not only helps keep your roster up to date, but make sure that you're billed appropriately as well. We recommend that you review your roster at the beginning and the end of each semester just to make sure that there's nobody who needs to be updated or anybody who needs to be archived at that time. Now that we've covered how to update your chapter roster, let's take a look at how to bill your members. Click on Invoices in the left menu. From this screen, you'll be able to create a charge or invoice for your members and then edit or delete charges as needed. Let's take a look at how to create an invoice. First, you're going to click on the blue Create New Invoices button. The first thing that you're going to do is select the members that you want to bill. You can go through and select them individually, add them to the list. You could add all of your members in one fell swoop, or if you have everybody sorted into member groups, you can select Filter by Group, select the member group for which you'd like to set up charges, and add all of your members. Next, we'll set up their charges. So click Add Charge. You'll enter a charge title. You'll decide whether it's going to be a recurring charge or a one-time charge. You'll select the amount. If you have different amounts per charge for some of the users, if you click on this button, it'll let you go in and edit the charge specifically for that user. So if you had to edit charges just for Caitlin, you could go in here and we could change her recurring charge to $25 a month. You'll enter a charge description. Next, you're going to select the bank account that you would like their payments to be deposited to. You'll select the revenue category, and you'll set up a custom billing schedule. So the start date for the first one, we could say that's going to be today. It'll be due in a month. You can set up a late fee. So we'll say it's $5 if it's paid 1 month from now. Or you could set up an early payment discount. So if they paid it prior to the due date, let's say that you wanted to give them a $5 discount if they paid in full within 2 weeks of receiving their statement, you could do that as well. For recurring charges, you'll add additional cycles here. So we would set this up so that the start date is after the first due date, and that the due date, is well after you've sent out that statement. Once again, you can set up late fees. You can have the same exact late fee, or if you want to increase late fees as they go through the process and get later into the cycle, you could do that as well. You'll set up the late after date. And again, if you want to set up an early payment discount, you would do that here. And you'll do that for each cycle that you want to set up. Once you've completed your cycle setup, you'll click Save Charge to enter that on their invoices. If you need to go back and edit the charge, you'll click on the pencil icon. You'll put in a reason for the edit, and then make your changes here. And if you need to delete the charge, you would click the trash can icon here. You can also add additional charges, so we could add a one-time charge for a social fee. Select your deposit account, choose your revenue category. Again, you'll select the active date, and the due date. So while we might want this one to have the same active date, maybe we want it to be due a little early because we need these fees to come in ahead of an event that we're planning. Set up a late fee and an early payment discount if you'd like, and then click Save Charges to add it to the list. You can also add a statement message. Click Show Preview to get a preview of what that invoice is going to look like for your members. And then when you're ready to send invoices, you'll click the blue Send Invoice button. So now that we've talked about how to add charges and create invoices, let's look at how we can manage your outstanding charges. Charges that will become active or visible to a member in the future are going to show up with a blue status. Charges in the green status are currently visible to that member, and charges that have reached past due status will show up in red. Click on the Action button to access all of the actions that you can take on any given charge. We can choose to edit the charge. To edit that charge, we just enter a reason for the edit. We could change the title, the amount of that charge, the charge description, which financial account that charge will be deposited into, what revenue category that charge is associated with, whether or not it is a past active date or if we'd want to change that and resend this out in the future, and the due date. You can also apply a late fee or an early payment discount to this charge as well from this page. Save your changes to lock that in. You can also delete an outstanding charge. You can put in a reason if necessary. So yes, delete unpaid invoice amount. And that charge will be visible under the deleted section. Some other actions that you can take for your members include either recording a payment. From here, it would give you the payer, the amount that they paid towards this charge, any notes that you'd like to make, and the payment method. You can also create a payment plan for your member for this charge. In this case, it looks like we've paid some of this charge off already, but Fraser still has $40 left in the balance that's past due. So we could choose to split that balance into 2 installments of $20. We could adjust this to be $30 on the first payment and $10 on the second. Select an active and a due date, so a date that it's visible to your member and the date that it's due. And add a late fee for each payment if they're not paid within a certain number of days past that due date. Then click Create Payment Plan to apply these changes. So now you'll see, instead of just seeing the monthly house charges, you'll see that the title has changed to Payment Plan. If you needed to send an invoice to a member to make sure that they saw any updates that you made to the charges, you click Send Invoice. And to see the details of the charges, click Charge Detail, where you can review the charge name, the amount, any time that it's overdue, any history or changes that you've made to that particular charge, late fees, income category, and whether or not it's been viewed by your member yet. LegFi can also help you manage communicating with your members and assist you in collecting outstanding dues. From the Communications module, you can send texts, emails, surveys, and more to your members to remind them about upcoming chapter events, important deadlines, anything that you'd like to communicate with those members about. Simply select the Go button under the desired method of communication. Select the members that you would like to communicate with. Enter your message. and then click the green Send Message button to submit this to your members. From the Communications module, you can also share documents with your members that you'd like them to have access to. You can view a communications log of all emails and text messages sent via LegFi. You can also see from this log if they were opened and view the original message that you sent. You can send your members an on-demand e-statement. Members do receive e-statements automatically on the 3rd and 15th of every month, but if you need to send them an additional statement, you can do so here. You can create events and share those events with your members. Our calendar events do easily sync with existing Google calendars. You can manage your members' contracts and make sure that they have signed and send reminders to anybody who still needs to sign their member contract. And you can also send on-demand paper statements. So you can send an individual paper invoice to selected members via US mail. They'd be mailed out within 2 business days. If you find that you have members who need some additional prompting to get their bill to the chapter paid, our collections module has some additional options for you. From the collections module, you can send email reminders or schedule calls to remind members about their past due amounts. To do that, you'll simply select the Go button. You'll edit the description or the script. Select the members for whom you like to send this communication, and then schedule your email or your call by clicking on the green button here. You also have the option to submit members to external collections at the chapter's discretion, and you would do so by filling out the form under this section. And if you need information about the collections agency, that information is available to you here as well. Now that we've talked about how you can use LegFi to manage billing your members and handle those collections of dues, let's talk about how it can assist you in building and maintaining a chapter budget. In the budget module, your chapter can build a projected budget to better track chapter income and expenditures. You'll see a revenue and expenses overview that shows you your actual versus your budgeted revenue and expenses for the year to date. You can click Manage Budget to make changes to your projected budget. To enter in line items to your budget, you'll just click on the line item and then enter in the expected revenue or expense amount for each month. And then click off and it will save those changes for you. To review any changes that you've made and to see how that affects your overall budget, you can come back to the main budget page and you'll see how that adjusts for each revenue and expense account. If you're using the budget tool, you want to make sure that any expenses or transactions that you have coming in are having accurate categories recorded for them. So if you see a notice like this up at the top, you may have some expenses that you need to go categorize to keep your budget reporting accurate. So we'll click here, and this is going to take us to our transaction module, where we can review all of our transactions to date, and then you can go in and categorize each transaction. You can add attachments, so you can include receipts or invoices for each transaction, whether it's revenue or an expense. And you can also make changes to the description that's listed. If it's a transaction that you've entered, you can make changes to the amount as well. So you're able to make all those changes and keep those transactions up to date, which will feed into that budget reporting for you. If you're on the transactions page and you're not seeing a transaction that you anticipated seeing, you can add your income or expense transactions here as well. You'll just select Add, pick the transaction date, enter a description, the amount you received, the category that should be applied to, and then the account that was deposited or pulled from. And click off to update your transaction listing. And the last thing that we're going to cover today is how to view reports in LegFi. So in the reports module, we have some pre-existing financial reports that you can pull. You can also create custom member reports or pull member contact information from this module as well. I'm just going to highlight a couple of financial reports for you today. The first is the aging of accounts report. This report lets you know exactly how much is due and outstanding for each of your member and the amount in each delinquency status that is past due for each member. So you can quickly see what's currently due and what debt has aged for each member. I'll also show you the charge summary. The charge summary report is just a list of every charge by title that you have applied to your members. So if you're looking for a specific charge and want to see who that charge was applied to, you'll just click View. And you'll have additional charge details for those specific instances. And then we'll take a look at the budget versus actual reporting. So this report pulls out of that budget tool that we just talked a bit about. You can export the budget versus actual income or the budget versus actual expenses. And there's two ways to view this report. You can view it as cash, or if you click this blue button here, it'll switch to the accrual-based reporting. I just want to take a moment to thank you for joining us today and remind you that if you have any questions while you're using LegFi, check out our Help Center. Just click on the question mark button and it'll take you straight to our knowledge base, which is full of helpful articles. And if you still need some additional support, you can reach out to us either via the support widget by clicking here or at LegFi support@legfi.com. Thanks again for joining us and have a great day.